what I can tell you, everything has backfired. You can tell the sabotage of Shedeur Sanders. Every coach looked like they don't know what they was talking about or what they was doing in the draft. You have a bunch of teams looking like they failed at drafting a quarterback, which it was predicted that Shedeur Sanders would go first or second behind Cam Ward. Which Skip Bayless said this is the best quarterback he's seen, and you know he's the biggest Tom Brady fan, hands down. He said he could be as good or greater than Tom Brady. That's Skip Bayless own the words as he watched a lot of quarterbacks come up over years and years. You cannot make this up. Now, here we are as we're watching the Cleveland Browns go down in shambles. As you watch Dylan Gable's gameplay, if what I can tell you, yes, he didn't.
Hey everyone, before we dive into this absolute mess unfolding in Cleveland, I need your help. We're pushing hard to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, and every single subscription gets us closer. If you're enjoying the content and want to see more deep dives into NFL chaos, hit that subscribe button right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it means everything to this channel. Now, let's get into the madness that is the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation. This wasn't just a press conference, it was a public execution. An NFL head coach blindsided and demolished in real time by a $100 million bombshell dropped by his own rookie quarterback. The look on his face when the news broke was priceless. A total devastation. His world evaporated in a single brutal moment, broadcast live for the entire football world to see. This story isn't just about money, it's about the seismic instantaneous shift of power that just changed the NFL forever. A rookie quarterback just exposed his head coach's complete lack of organizational control, validating ownership's vision while simultaneously destroying the coach's authority. The chaos is tearing the Cleveland Browns apart from the inside. It was supposed to be a routine Tuesday press conference during the dog days of training camp, the kind of boring session where Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski would offer up the usual coach speak. But what transpired was a live television career demolition. Under the hot media lights, Stefanski was mid-sentence when a wave of phone notifications swept through the room like a virus. The news had broken. Shedeur Sanders, the Browns' controversial 5th-round draft pick, was reportedly finalizing an unprecedented portfolio of endorsement deals worth a staggering $100 million. The figure was astronomical, the implications seismic, and the timing was an absolute catastrophe for the man at the podium. A reporter, sensing blood in the water, broke protocol and interrupted the coach. "Coach," he called out, "can you comment on the reports that Shedeur Sanders has just secured $100 million in endorsement deals?" The transformation was instantaneous and terrifying. Kevin Stefanski's face drained of color, his jaw clenched so tight you could almost hear his teeth grinding. His eyes darted sideways, searching desperately for the PR director, but there was no escape. The microphone picked up his sharp, audible gasp for air. I haven't been briefed on that situation," he stammered, his voice cracking under the immense pressure. "My focus remains on football operations." The response was weak, hollow, and utterly unconvincing. The sound of a man whose world had just been ripped out from under him. The reporters descended like sharks. "Did ownership inform you beforehand? How does this affect team dynamics? Does Sanders' financial status complicate your authority as head coach?" Stefanski fumbled and flailed, his responses growing progressively worse. A visible sheen of sweat formed on his forehead. His hands gripped the podium, knuckles white, as if it were the only thing keeping him from collapsing. His body language wasn't just screaming discomfort, it was screaming humiliation. It was a complete and total loss of control. He knew, and everyone watching knew, that his era in Cleveland had just ended. Before Stefanski could even stumble off the stage, social media had erupted. Stefanski Exposed was the #1 trend on Twitter. Viral clips of his face crumbling in real time accumulated millions of views every hour. The fan reaction was savage and merciless. One widely circulated comment declared, "That press conference ended Stefanski's coaching career." You could see it in his eyes. The man looked destroyed. Cleveland just crowned their new king, and it ain't the head coach. Reddit threads dissected the footage frame by frame. YouTube creators launched emergency reaction videos with titles like, "Stefanski's career is over." The internet showed zero mercy. This wasn't just an awkward press conference. It was a public sacrifice, and everyone from professional observers to casual fans recognized its historic significance. The brutal reality of the modern sports media cycle is that one single moment of visible weakness can wipe out years of professional success. Let's be perfectly clear why this story transcends typical contract news. The $100 million figure itself represents a seismic shift in the power dynamics of the NFL. For context, established Super Bowl winning veteran quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow take years to accumulate endorsement portfolios of this magnitude. Shedeur Sanders securing 9-figure deals before starting a single regular season game doesn't just break the mold, it shatters it. He is not seeking the organization's approval, he is operating on a completely different plane, leveraging his personal brand to command resources that rival the valuation of the franchise itself. This is unprecedented territory where a 5th-round rookie possesses financial leverage that exceeds that of the entire coaching staff, the front office, and potentially even ownership. The composition of the deal itself reveals a level of strategic sophistication light years beyond typical athlete endorsements. Sources familiar with the negotiations describe a meticulously structured portfolio that diversifies his revenue streams. The primary anchor is an exclusive athletic apparel partnership. An energy drink company has reportedly secured Sanders as its primary spokesman. A luxury automotive manufacturer is leveraging his lifestyle brand. A cryptocurrency platform is capitalizing on his massive social media reach, and a streaming service is already producing a documentary series chronicling his rookie season. Each component is independently substantial, but combined, the total approaches $100 million with performance escalators that could push it beyond $150 million. But here is the real killer, the clause that truly ended Kevin Stefanski's authority. Sanders' team negotiated unprecedented control clauses. He maintains approval rights over marketing materials, content direction, brand partnerships, and public appearances. The deal is structured to protect his image and amplify his message, making his empire completely independent from the Cleveland Browns' organizational oversight. This autonomy is the ultimate power statement. Sanders has unequivocally declared to the world, "The franchise does not control me. I control my destiny." This financial independence completely eliminates the traditional leverage that coaches hold over young quarterbacks. You cannot threaten a player's playing time when his endorsements exist regardless of whether he plays. You cannot demand conformity when a player's personal brand supersedes the team's identity. You cannot exercise authority when a player possesses resources that render any organizational pressure completely meaningless. Kevin Stefanski's visible humiliation suddenly makes perfect, horrifying sense. He realized in that exact moment that he was coaching a player who had transcended his authority overnight. The traditional hierarchies that have governed player-coach relationships for a century were fundamentally disrupted, and he was the first casualty of the New World Order. This was a philosophical collision broadcast for millions. Stefanski represents the old guard, the belief that coaches command ultimate authority, players follow instructions, and organizational structure is maintained through established protocols. Sanders embodies the new reality where superstar quarterbacks operate as independent brands, as cultural phenomena beyond the control of any single coach. Yesterday's press conference crystallized this collision, showing the entire world a transfer of power happening in real time. And don't for a second misunderstand the organizational implications. According to sources close to the Browns front office, owner Jimmy Haslam is absolutely furious with Stefanski's handling of the Sanders situation from draft night forward. Haslam reportedly viewed Sanders as a franchise savior, a marketing goldmine, a catalyst for ticket sales, and a generator of the national spotlight. Instead, Stefanski's documented resistance, his public preference for a different pick, and his reluctant acceptance of Sanders created unnecessary controversy that undermined the team's potential from day one. Haslam allegedly believes the coach's stubbornness cost the organization months of positive momentum, millions in potential revenue, and countless opportunities to capitalize on Sanders' marketability. Now, with Sanders securing a $100 million portfolio independently, he has validated ownership's vision, while simultaneously exposing the coaching staff's catastrophic short-sightedness. The financial data is undeniable. The Browns' ticket sales are directly correlated with Sanders' presence. Season ticket renewals spiked the moment he was drafted. Merchandise sales featuring his jersey have already broken franchise records. Television ratings for preseason coverage were the highest in years specifically because of the buzz around Sanders. He is without question the Cleveland Browns' most valuable asset, and Kevin Stefanski spent months actively undermining him. From an ownership perspective, that is organizational malpractice. From a business standpoint, that is career-ending incompetence. That is precisely why yesterday's press conference felt like a public execution. It wasn't just the media killing his career, it was his own organization loading the gun. League insiders report that Stefanski's tenure is hanging by a thread. Multiple sources within NFL coaching circles suggest that Cleveland's ownership is already conducting quiet conversations with potential replacements. Names circulating include offensive-minded candidates who are specifically compatible with Sanders' skill set, former quarterback coaches who understand modern passing concepts, and younger coordinators who embrace the philosophy of player empowerment. The message is crystal clear. Stefanski's traditional, rigid approach is incompatible with Sanders' revolutionary presence. One of them has to go, and based on the financial calculations, the jersey sales, the ticket revenue, the national exposure, and the entire trajectory of the organization, the expendable party is painfully obvious. The national media verdict was swift and unanimous. On ESPN's morning debate show, former NFL head coach Herman Edwards stated bluntly, "You absolutely cannot survive as a head coach when your quarterback becomes bigger than the franchise, and you're viewed as an obstacle, not an asset." Kevin Stefanski lost this battle the moment Shedeur signed that deal. His authority evaporated, his credibility was destroyed, his career is effectively finished. Another analyst added, his voice dripping with grim finality, "What we witnessed yesterday wasn't a press conference. It was a funeral. Stefanski's coaching career died on live television, and everyone watching knew it." The morning program on Fox Sports was similarly brutal. One prominent commentator declared, "Shedeur Sanders just became the most powerful rookie in NFL history. He's got $100 million independent of team performance. He's got the national spotlight. He's got a social media army. He's got ownership support. He's got everything except a coach who believes in him. And guess what? The coach is the one who's going to lose his job. That's the new NFL reality. Player power just reached an unprecedented level, and Kevin Stefanski just became the cautionary tale. If the national media was harsh, the local Cleveland media outlets were painting an even grimmer picture. Beat reporters with access to the organization described a toxic atmosphere permeating the entire facility. Assistant coaches are reportedly expressing private concerns about Stefanski's leadership, questioning his decision-making, and wondering about their own job security. Front office personnel are allegedly avoiding interaction with the coaching staff, conducting business through intermediaries rather than direct communication. This organizational fracture extends far beyond the Stefanski-Sanders dynamic and points toward a complete institutional breakdown. The locker room, the very heart of the team, is reportedly splitting into distinct factions. Younger players are gravitating towards Sanders, recognizing his influence and aligning with the obvious future of the franchise. Veteran players are attempting to remain neutral while privately calculating the career implications of choosing the wrong side. Coaching staff loyalists are defending Stefanski in public while updating their resumes in private. This internal division is a cancer that resists any quick resolution. Championship contenders require a unified purpose. The Cleveland Browns currently exhibit the exact opposite: a fractured locker room, a divided coaching staff, a dysfunctional front office, an intervening owner, and a full-blown media circus of national mockery. That is not a playoff formula. That is an organizational catastrophe. You have to examine the strategic brilliance of Sanders and his team here. The timing of the $100 million deal announcement was a devastatingly calculated move. It came at the midpoint of training camp when media attention is maximized. It came immediately following a series of strong practice performances that established his on-field credibility. It came right before crucial preseason games where he could demonstrate his game readiness. The timing forces the organization's hand while Sanders maintains maximum leverage. He is demonstrating to ownership, his teammates, the fans, the media, and the entire league that he represents Cleveland's future, regardless of the coaching staff's preferences. He is publicly declaring that his value transcends the franchise, his brand supersedes the organization, and his power exceeds the traditional hierarchies. When billion-dollar corporations stake their reputations on Sanders' marketability, Kevin Stefanski's football opinions become utterly irrelevant. The financial verdict has been rendered, and it was decisive. The social media metrics support this investment thesis comprehensively. Sanders' Instagram following exceeds 2.8 million, dwarfing most established NFL quarterbacks. His TikTok videos generate millions of views, reaching demographics that traditional football coverage misses entirely. His engagement rates are among the highest in the league. Compare that digital dominance against Stefanski's virtually non-existent digital presence. From a pure marketing perspective, Sanders is an infinitely more valuable asset. When an organization is forced to choose between a globally recognized quarterback influencer and an anonymous head coach, they will prioritize revenue generation every single time. That's not a personal vendetta, it's a cold, hard business calculation, and yesterday's press conference crystallized this brutal economic reality for everyone watching. The $100 million figure carries a symbolic significance that goes beyond monetary value. It represents Sanders achieving a level of financial security that eliminates the typical vulnerabilities of a rookie. Young players are usually desperate to prove themselves, accept coaching criticism, and conform to organizational demands because they need the job, the paycheck, and the opportunity. Sanders' endorsement portfolio eliminates that desperation entirely. He is financially independent whether the Cleveland Browns play him or not. Stefanski cannot threaten his livelihood. He cannot leverage playing time as his ultimate source of authority. He cannot exercise the traditional control mechanisms that coaches have relied upon for decades to maintain discipline. This financial liberation empowers Sanders to negotiate from a position of strength, not desperation. If the Browns bench him unfairly, he has a $100 million cushion while he pursues opportunities elsewhere. If the coaching staff undermines him publicly, he has the platform, the resources, and the audience to amplify his own perspective. This is an unprecedented level of rookie leverage that fundamentally disrupts the old power structures. And Kevin Stefanski, a man representing an old guard coaching philosophy, was completely and totally unprepared to handle this revolutionary dynamic. League executives are watching the situation in Cleveland intensely, recognizing the potential precedent it sets for all future player-coach relationships. If Sanders successfully establishes that a quarterback's authority can supersede a coach's control, every future rookie with a substantial endorsement deal will reference this case study. If the Browns fire Stefanski, they will be validating player power over the traditional hierarchy, and other organizations will be forced to reconsider their own coach-quarterback dynamics. This transcends an individual franchise drama and points toward a potential league-wide shift in the distribution of authority. Former players are offering mixed reactions, revealing a fascinating generational divide. Some veteran quarterbacks express admiration for Sanders' business acumen, celebrating the new opportunities for young players. Others have voiced concerns about a lack of respect and the idea of earning status through performance rather than social media metrics. One retired Super Bowl champion stated, "I'd never have disrespected my coach. The way the situation makes Stefanski look, that part bothers me." Another former Pro Bowl quarterback offered a harsher assessment. "This is exactly what's wrong with modern football. Kids thinking they're bigger than the game before they've accomplished anything. That's backwards. That's disrespectful. Players have too much power before they've earned it." The Browns fans are similarly divided, though the majority sentiment is trending heavily towards supporting Sanders. Online polls show that roughly 2/3 of the fan base are siding with their new quarterback. One longtime season ticket holder said, "I've watched terrible quarterbacks my entire life. We finally got someone special, and the coach can't get out of his own way." Shedeur brings excitement, energy, and hope. Stefanski represents the same old conservative Browns football that's failed for decades. "I know who I'm keeping." Another fan added, "That press conference was painful to watch." Stefanski looked defeated, scared, and exposed. Meanwhile, Shedeur is out there securing $100 million, becoming a national star, and putting Cleveland on the map. This ain't difficult math. Move on from the coach and build around the quarterback. When the vast majority of your fan base is clearly backing the quarterback over the coach, the expendable party becomes obvious. The financial reality is that Sanders is a golden goose for the Browns organization. His presence can justify premium ticket pricing, increase merchandise sales, enhance local sponsorship deals, and improve television negotiating leverage. Internal financial projections allegedly show the Browns could generate an additional $30 to $50 million annually through Sanders-related revenue streams. When a single player is potentially generating 8 figures in annual revenue, organizations will accommodate his needs, even if the coach objects. This is the financial reality that crashed down on Kevin Stefanski during that press conference. He realized far too late that his football decisions had become secondary to business considerations. His preferences regarding quarterbacks and developmental timelines were all irrelevant compared to the massive revenue machine that is Shedeur Sanders. He is a coach in the wrong era, in the wrong organization, and in the wrong situation. His career trajectory was decided in that moment. The execution is now merely a formality. The most frustrating element of this dysfunction is the talent being wasted on the roster. The Browns' defense is stacked with Pro Bowl caliber players like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, a unit capable of carrying a team deep into the playoffs if given just competent quarterback play and organizational stability. Instead, they are forced to watch as offensive drama derails their championship aspirations. One defensive captain allegedly stated privately, Ultimately, we got maybe 2-3 years left with this core group. Every season wasted arguing about quarterbacks is a championship opportunity lost forever. This constant drama is exhausting, and it's costing us real chances at winning. The same goes for the offense, with elite playmakers like Amari Cooper and Nick Chubb watching their prime years evaporate amid the chaos. Ownership, of course, bears significant responsibility. Jimmy Haslam's public interference from day one undermined the coaching authority and destabilized the entire organizational hierarchy. Successful franchises empower football people to make football decisions. Haslam's approach has been the exact opposite, imposing business-driven mandates that have created this avoidable chaos. Yesterday's press conference might finally force the necessary organizational reckoning. The public humiliation and national mockery have made the dysfunction impossible to ignore. The Browns must decisively choose a direction. They must either embrace Sanders completely and restructure the organization around his needs, or recommit to Stefanski, which would almost certainly require Sanders' departure. The current ambiguous middle ground has proven to be catastrophically unworkable. The most likely resolution involves Stefanski's departure, Sanders' elevation, and a comprehensive restructure of the offensive staff. This path aligns with the financial incentives, fan preferences, and the reality of player power in the modern NFL. A less likely but potentially devastating scenario involves Sanders requesting a trade. His $100 million portfolio gives him the security to make such a demand if he concludes that staying in Cleveland threatens his long-term career trajectory. Requesting a trade becomes a rational business decision. The Browns would suffer a catastrophic embarrassment, and it would be a nightmare scenario for Haslam. This possibility, however remote, gives Sanders incredible leverage. And looming over all of this is the influence of his father, Deion Sanders. Coach Prime has been strategically silent, but he is a PR nuclear weapon waiting to be deployed if his son is wronged. He has a platform, credibility, and an audience capable of generating enormous pressure on the Cleveland organization. This implicit threat hangs over every single decision the Browns make. Ultimately, Kevin Stefanski's legacy will be defined by this single disastrous moment. His Coach of the Year awards and his playoff victories will be overshadowed by the public humiliation he endured. Sports history remembers dramatic failures more vividly than quiet successes, and Stefanski will forever be remembered as the coach whose authority was destroyed live on national television by a rookie quarterback's endorsement deal. For Shedeur Sanders, yesterday was a coronation. He demonstrated that in the new NFL, talent, marketability, and cultural relevance can supersede all traditional hierarchies. He proved that a quarterback can become more powerful than a coach and more valuable than the organization itself. Whether he succeeds on the field remains to be seen, but he has already revolutionized the off-field possibilities for every athlete to come. The Cleveland Browns now face an existential crisis. Yesterday's press conference eliminated any possibility of maintaining the status quo. Stefanski's career in Cleveland is effectively finished. Sanders' supremacy has been definitively established. The only remaining question is how quickly the Browns can acknowledge reality, make the necessary changes, and salvage what's left of their championship window. The entire football world watched Kevin Stefanski's career end. Now they are watching to see if the Browns will finally save their franchise or let it crumble into yet another cautionary tale of incompetence and wasted potential.